should be confused.
Okay, we are live. I am Kent Marshfield, Wisconsin, if you didn't know that. I do believe we are live over on the YouTubes. It sometimes takes a minute, but don't
On
say
the
anything
YouTubes.
inappropriate.
We're live on the YouTubes.
Yep.
All right, my chat is on.
You got the chat pulled up already? Are you kidding me? Oops, that was me. All right, welcome everybody. Yep, cover up your hair. Max is self-conscious. Why don't I see myself on
I
YouTube?
see
That's
you.
okay. Welcome everybody to episode 33 of Pick Our Brains with Kent. Animal F52, KG's Unique Rare and Antique Books, and you are Max.
Common Ground Finds, Paper Gold, and all things in between.
Did you ever find that little yellow sheet with all your links?
My God, I can't believe you just asked me for that.
I always ask you for it. Remember? There you go. You can find him, and I'll have you show it a little later too when people file in. You can find him on eBay and whatnot at Common Ground Finds, YouTube, Paper Gold Podcast, Instagram, Common Ground Finds Underline, Patreon, Book, Paper Gold, and ongoing Book Hunters Conversation.
You know what? If this was Star Wars Episode 1, it would look like this.
Do 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 do
In a
do do
galaxy
do
far away.
do 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 do. Okay. I've seen a couple of the movies. I don't know if I've ever seen a whole Star Wars movie.
Some things you say just shock me.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So,
It's not-
I mean, let's let the cat out of the bag. I mean, let's just start here.
Okay.
Are you growing a beard?
Yes. A little bit. It's a little straggly, but I'm just gonna grow it out a little longer and see what happens.
When you say see what happens, what does that mean?
That means we will see what it looks like. And
Okay.
if I, it's very uncomfortable and itchy. So
Have you ever had a full beard?
I've had it a little longer than this.
Okay.
This is about maybe 2 weeks of growth, maybe a little longer.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, next week, if
Okay.
if you come back next week and it's still here, it's still here.
Okay, but is part of this summertime laziness creeping in already?
No, because I shave my head like
Okay.
every few days. So usually I trim the beard and shave the head at the same time. So it's not necessarily lazy day.
All right.
All right, we got a couple commenters. We got Junkman saying promptly pumping publicity, book bargains and bidding, suspense, sales and slackers, and Oxford commas. That a poem? I think that was a poem.
Did Art Turner just write us a oh, did Junkman just write us a poem?
Beard
Promptly
and blue
pumping
collar
publicity, book bargains, and bidding. Either that or it's his new store.
could be. Bert says beard. Yep. Wait, did you read that one?
No.
Uh, Art says beard and blue collar hat swag Kent is going for. Yes, absolutely. Trying to be more rugged here in central Wisconsin.
Uh-oh. He's on the hunt, everybody.
Gonna get some cattle and a horse and build a barn. Actually,
Th-
my brother is building a barn for his
This is
cow.
what happens when you plant trees 2 weeks ago. This is exactly what
Yeah.
happens.
I'm a lumberjack now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
mean, yeah.
yeah, yeah, true. All right, let's talk about books and book selling. I have a topic for us today, a couple topics. The first one is going to be using social media to advertise your business.
Okay. Which we both do.
Yep. So you have the YouTube channel and an Instagram and a Facebook, but you're not too active on Facebook, are you?
I used to be very active on it. I had an employee at one time whose sole job was to be my social media on Facebook and uh really going after the local books, but
Yep.
also that's when I started really doing my consignment business. And so we had a very large surge, casting a very wide net into what we were doing. um she doesn't work for me anymore, so it's so hard. I mean, not to be negative, but it's just so hard to run all of the social media sites that there are.
Yeah. Facebook is good, like you said, for the local stuff. Make a Facebook page for your business is
Yeah.
probably a good move. Um, tell people where you're from. Go follow all of the other local bookstores and local people and other people that you know from online and from YouTube and wherever. Throw comments in their chat, and that's how other people are going to find you. And then join the book groups. I'm not part of too many of them. I think I'm really only in the vintage, rare, and antique books, the VA, the what is it? Vintage VRAB group on Facebook, the Vintage, Rare, and Antique Book
Is
group
that
on
Steve
Facebook.
Eisenstein's group?
Yep. Steve Eisenstein has a group, and again, you can buy and sell and trade. You can ask questions. You can just chat. You can show off your books. It's not just a
Yeah, he's very
reselling.
laid. He's very laid back.
Yep. And I think there's like 50,000 people
Mhm.
in that group. It's an absolutely massive group dedicated to showing off cool collectible
Yeah, I
books.
spoke to him this afternoon. I think I'm going to be on his show again Saturday morning.
Yep. And I've made posts in there promoting my eBay stuff and my YouTube channel, and I think I've sold a few things and probably bought a few things in that group, but though I'm not very active. Um, but it would definitely help if I had more time. And then otherwise, I mostly just use my Facebook page to market to my local customers. So I say, hey, these are the new arrivals at my bookstore. Occasionally, I'll post links to my eBay listings as
Mhm.
well, and hopefully snag some bidders that way.
Right. But I think you and I think our favorite place to look at is probably Instagram.
Yeah. One quick question. Junkman says, you're not in any of the esoteric groups or military book groups. No, I'm not. And I know there's like Easton Press groups,
Mhm.
there's antique leather bound book groups, there's all kinds of stuff. And then again, the esoteric book groups, there's Black Americana groups, like he said, military book groups. I'm not a part of any of them. But if you're into that kind of stuff and you're selling it or buying it, you definitely need to check out.
Yeah.
There's tons of ephemera groups.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, hundreds of ephemera groups.
Yeah. I'm actually in a group for Canadian Football League fans because I have a very large collection unlisted right now of Canadian Football League
Yeah.
stuff. And so they let me come into their group and they're going to let me show off the collection. So
Well, that's
there's
awesome.
a group for every niche you want.
Yeah, and it doesn't just have to be the book groups, like you said. It can be the
Right.
weird uh groups that aren't book related, but that would be interested in your niche
Mhm.
books. Junkman says, does Kent do layaway or holds on the local post pickups? Yep, absolutely. If I post something on my Facebook page and you want to message me and say, hey, I want that, I'll be like, I always tell my customers, yep, if you can come pick it up in the next couple months and get it paid for, that's fine with me. There's no rush. Happy
No rush.
to set stuff. Yeah, I'm unbelievably happy to set stuff aside for people. I just had a huge set of great books of the Western world that one customer expressed interest and then another customer did. So I reached out to the first one and she decided not to buy it, but she did have it on hold.
Mhm.
But I sold it to the second one. I'm very flexible with my local and online customers too.
Yeah, you love when your I know that you love when your local customers reach out to you and they want something that you've executed on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, I would love more of my income to come from local sales, but it's kind of limited being in rural Wisconsin. Um, and again, I have plenty of customers that are collectors, but they don't spend like my eBay and whatnot customers do that'll just buy stuff all day, every day for me. There's eBay customers. There's one I just mailed 2 big boxes for this month. He's been buying me week after week after week, not every day, but like a couple times a week at least, sometimes every day.
Mhm.
And he's been doing that for 10 years. None of my local customers are coming in every day to buy something or even every week. They come once a month, once every couple months, once every few months. That's much more typical for local customers.
If you had a child, he would have put that child through college.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Yeah, I haven't added up his May bill yet, but it's probably about $1,000. Crazy.
Yeah. Now let's work on this talking about social media. Let's go backwards
Okay.
because you and I oftentimes talk about how much time we don't have to do the things we want to do. So, what would you like social media to do for you that you're not getting out of it right now because of time?
Um, Interesting question. I mean, I've mostly utilized it to push people to my eBay page.
Mhm.
Um, like I'll make an Instagram post and say, "Hey, I just listed all of these Wizard of Oz books on eBay."
Sure.
Or I really should be using it to push people to my whatnot sales. I've done that a little more through Facebook because it's easier to share links and stuff. Um, but I will say, so there's local antique stores that are struggling in the area. And I would really love for all of them to be posting every single day about new inventory coming in, because for me, when I post like the great books of the Western world set, there's a 50% chance anything that I post on my Facebook page for my local customers is going to sell.
That's a
So
big percentage.
if I posted something every single day,
Mhm.
I would have an extra
Mhm.
two, three, $400 worth of income depending on the quality of stuff I'm listing. I just posted some Wizard of Oz books. It had a couple people reach out to me. Um, I think there was four of them, and I already have two of them set aside for local customers.
Beautiful.
So if I made a post every day or even multiple times a day, it would be almost guaranteed sales for probably about half of those items I list.
It is time consuming though, because other thing for me, I always want to go live. You know, beginning of the year, I was going live a lot on Instagram, but I found sometimes life just gets in the way, and you want to go live, and something else happens, and you got to deal with it, and it just gets put to the wayside. And
Yeah.
my struggle is the time issue. Now I do have a person who does my Instagram and my TikToks. I pay them weekly. Um, but there is a lot more I would like to do. I would like to do more lives. I know that you've been after me about doing box openings with all the consignment books I get in, do an
Yep.
do a box opening, but it's just a matter of time to get it all done.
And like, especially for me, I have a little bit of extra free time this afternoon. So usually I get to start on tomorrow's eBay listings, but there's a million different ways to make money. You could post something for sale on Instagram. You could do a Facebook page for post for local customers. I could make a YouTube video showing off new stuff that just arrived or stuff that
Mhm.
I like to do posts of, hey, this is all the stuff I have up on eBay right now and the stuff coming up the next few days. That definitely helps. Or like especially me and you now, we could go to a pop-up whatnot show and make two, three, $400 guaranteed money. So we're bouncing between all of these different things that are going to make us money or promote our business. And it's just a matter of there probably are certain things that are more efficient for making money than YouTube posts. But if you make a YouTube post or an Instagram post and it finds you a new eBay customer that's gonna maybe buy from you for
Sure.
years to come.
Mhm.
One of my one of my eBay customers, I send a little slip of paper with all of my items. That just says, hey, check out my whatnot, my show, my book sales on
Mhm.
whatnot.com. I'm Animal Vet 52 on whatnots. And now one of my eBay customers has been buying from me every single sale I do. She buys anywhere from a couple books up to like 10 or 15 books every single
Yeah.
sale.
It's funny that you say that because on my newest version of my business card, at the bottom, I now have
Also
also
on
on whatnot.com.
whatnot.com. Yeah, that's excellent.
So, you and I, boy, that I mean, they're going to get sick of us talking about this, but you and I are definitely entrenched in that other platform.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy. You know, our 2 hour sales, we're usually selling anywhere from like seven, 800 up to like 1,500. Our
Mhm.
1 hour show, what was you just did a quick half-hour
I
show
did
right before we
no,
started.
20-minute show and just
20
did
minutes.
about 320 minutes.
Yep, sold 20 books
10
for
books, 10 books,
$300.
10 books.
Oh, 10 books. Sorry, 10 books. It's so easy the fact that you can have $300 worth of income in 20 minutes is absolutely incredible. And you have a shipper, but if I had to ship 10 books, it would take me 15, maybe 20 minutes to get that done. Easy to set them up and list them. It really, for once you build your following on whatnot, it's the easiest money you'll ever make. Though I will say the one big problem is people are afraid to put up good quality stuff. It's kind of a chicken or the egg because people don't put up good stuff, so they don't build the following and don't get a bunch of people watching. And then they don't get a bunch of people watching, so they're afraid to put up good stuff. It's kind of this cyclical, how do you get out of this? Because if
Okay.
someone puts up a $50 book and it sells for $3, that's probably gonna be the last time they ever do that.
All right. Let me rephrase this idea that you just brought to us. What if you're an eBay seller and you do $200 to $300 a day, or $100 to $200 a day? That's your number right now.
Hmm.
And maybe you're having a bad day at $87 on this rainy Monday in Florida. I think the problem is people are afraid to put the good books up. They're gonna sell. They're not gonna sell most of the time. They're not gonna sell for eBay money. Sometimes they will though. Um, but like you just said, in 20 minutes, I just made $300. And if your number is $100 to $200 a day or 200 to 300, but you need 24 hours to create that, you can through Whatnot create that number if that's your goal, the number in 20 minutes.
Yeah. And most of us booksellers aren't lacking in inventory. We have a storage area full of books that we've been dreading to do anything with. We don't really want to have the motivation to list them on eBay. And that would be a great way to solve that. I love that I can move anywhere from like 30 to 80 books on a Whatnot show.
Well, how many books did you move on your show yesterday morning? 67, 68 or something?
Yeah, I think 68.
And I moved 88 lots. So between us, we did just about 150 lots. 150 lots of books in your 2 hour in 4 hours.
Yeah.
I guess the problem I always have is the name
the
of
velocity,
the game is to move
like especially most people are doing Amazon or just eBay buy it nows. In your eBay buy it nows, even if you have a huge inventory of eBay buy it nows, shelf after shelf full, thousands of books listed, you're still kind of maxing out at like 10 or 15, like 20 to sell 20 books in a day would be absolutely insane. Even if you had a massive buy it now inventory on eBay.
But for me, it's move the books. If you're in love with your $100, $200 books and you're just waiting for them to sell and you're waiting week after week, month after month, just go get more. You can find them. Go get more, sell them or lower the price on eBay if that's what it is. But the name of the game, the bottom line is to make a living selling books, not to make a living putting books on your bookshelf. We do have a question in the chat.
And we should also talk about eBay, the changes to eBay promoted listings, not to the US market, but to other markets. We can talk about that in a second. And
you better answer RFC's question first.
Yeah, we have to get to Instagram and YouTube as well. And then also Art Turner. Okay, RFC says, what do you do with books that are too damaged to sell? Well, usually I store them for 3 years and then I throw them away. Like I have a really cool old book from the 1850s with plates and the spine's fallen off. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty badly damaged, but it has plates, so it's not worthless. It's not good. It's not too bad to throw away, and it's not good enough to like try to auction it off.
But have you thought of taking the plates out and doing an ephemera show?
I think I'm going to sell it on Whatnot as a book with plates, and it'll sell there.
Yeah,
on eBay, it probably wouldn't bring much, but on Whatnot, and honestly, it is still probably a $20 to $30 book. Yeah. But it would be unbelievably difficult to sell on eBay. But I think I'll sell it. Yeah.
Take control for 1 minute. My food's outside. My Instacart groceries. Hold on.
Okay, I'm going to answer a few questions.
Yeah.
Art Turner says, have you thought about Facebook ads for local marketing? You can potentially use some of your YouTube content. I've definitely thought about it, but I've never done that. And I know that Facebook does have a very cool marketing, metrics where you're able to narrow it down to geographical, by age, by gender, all of that stuff, or people that are interested in books or antiques, or you can narrow it down by your potential audience's their interests. But no, I haven't done any Facebook marketing. There is some local marketing. I'm gonna Instacart. That's Max's dinner tonight. He's gonna eat that whole bag full. Junkman has a girlfriend that loves books too. Art was just asking about advertising on Facebook, and no, I haven't done any paid advertising on Facebook. Have you?
Yeah, when I had that employee, I did. Okay. But I mean, I haven't done it in a couple years. But I'm also not opposed to experimenting with advertising. I don't ever want to be afraid of trying something new. This is something I learned years ago. So if Art Turner wants to try it, just try it. It's only going to cost you a few sold books worth of money. And you only make money in this business when you take risks. You don't make money playing it safe. The people who play it safe, they don't sell their books, they get emotionally attached to them, and then they die. And then one of their family members calls me and says, do you want to buy this book collection? It's really the truth. You have
Yeah.
to take risks in this business. Look who's here. Harris Magoon Tunes is here. That's
Very
Harris
cool.
Mag from Whatnot.
Oh, Harris Meg is in the chat. Very cool. Welcome in,
We should
Harris.
have like a buzzer. We should have a sound
Bow, bow,
effect.
bow.
Bum, bum, bum.
Very cool. We'll get to your question in a second, but I did have one other thing to say about RFC. Their question about getting rid of books that are too damaged to sell. I did a couple box lots of books, of antique books that, maybe were from like the 20s, 30s, 40s. Some of them were a little bit too rough to sell one at a time, but they still had value as reading or decoration or whatever. For some people, they'd be happy to own them. So I would just fill a small little shelf with about 20 books, fill a box, and auction it off as a box of mediocre books. And I've did that a few times, and they were selling in the kind of like $20 to $30 range plus shipping. So the amount of time I had to do into putting that listing together and packaging them securely wasn't worth it, especially if they're only $20 minus all the darn fees and stuff. So I donate to Goodwill. I throw some stuff away. I know people don't like throwing away books, but there's way too many books in the world, so I don't feel bad about throwing them away. What about you? I mean, what do you do if if I mail you a pallet of books and there's 3 boxes of junk? Do you try to liquidate them? Do you try to do box lots, or do you just chuck them? Yeah, it's not worth spending your time, if you have good books in your storage room. It's not worth wasting the time on the duds. Just throw them away or donate them.
I've been selling books for a long time, and I have watched pre-eBay and Amazon. I have watched eBay and Amazon lifespan. I have watched into the year 2025, people trying to monetize their duds. And in the end, they spend too much time trying to find ways to monetize their quote unquote duds. When I would rather use that time to go find better books.
I think for experienced booksellers, especially if you have a backlog of inventory, it's probably not worth your time to list anything under maybe $15. I think that's maybe the cutoff.
Yeah. Yeah, my number right now on eBay is 18. I went from 12 as my lowest a couple of years ago. Now I'm up to 18 for a few factors. But I mean, if you buy smart, you don't have to worry about monetizing the duds.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
so you're not going to get rich monetizing the duds. You're going to get rich selling the good stuff.
Yep. Keep your questions coming, and we will get.
So many questions. Look at Harris Mag's been lurking all this time.
Ah, finally, brand new commenter.
Harris.
I've never seen Harris Mag comment.
Where's my bubble machine? Where's my bubble machine?
Your bubble blaster? I don't think you have one. So Harris Mag says, "Good evening. Could you please tell me how do you know how much to charge for shipping during a live whatnot when we're buying books here and there throughout the show?"
I'll let you answer that. You're better at that.
Okay, well. We enter the shipping when we preload our books. We enter the shipping, whether it's 1 pound, 1 to 2 pounds, 2 to 3, 4 to 6, 8 to 10 pounds. We enter in the shipping for each item, or if we auction off a book, we sell it based on the weight. So I'm going to sell this one as a 2-pound book. That's my estimate. We're usually pretty close. If we're going to sell a bundle, this might be a 4-pound lot.
But I think what Harris is asking is, for Harris, Whatnot has a template.
Yes, that's where I'm going.
You can just follow their template.
Yeah. So if you buy a 1 pound, your first 1 pound book is probably going to cost you about $5 to $5.50 maybe to ship that first one. And then let's say you buy another 1 pound book. Whatnot is going to calculate, okay, now it's going to be a 2-pound package instead of a 1 pound package. And it's going to charge you an extra 50 cents or $1.
Yeah.
Or it'll range. Usually your second, third, fourth purchase will be an extra anywhere from like 50 cents up to $3-4 depending on the weight of that second purchase. So Whatnot does very good. Like I think today I bought one book from you at your show and then I was watching the next lot. I didn't bid on any other ones, but I saw the shipping for the next lot was going to be an extra 79 cents.
Right. It decreased for you. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So Whatnot does have a very, very good system for combining shipping. And if you buy 10 $1 books, Whatnot's going to figure that that's going to be a 10-pound package, and you're only going to pay for that 10-pound package.
And let's make sure we say to Harris, if Harris has any further or deeper questions about this, to definitely contact you or I.
Mhm.
And we'll if in case we didn't answer their question properly.
Yep, I've bought a lot of books on Whatnot, and usually it's very reasonable if you're, especially if you're buying 5, 6, 8, 10 books in a show. The shipping just is always nice and cheap, book after book after book. If you buy a heavy one, it's going to cost you a little more, but Whatnot does have a very good combined shipping policy. RFC says, I have a bunch of counterfeit books from Taiwan. They are all from the 1960s to 1980s. Are they worth selling?
They're not counterfeit. I know exactly what I know exactly what they're talking about. It's not counterfeit. They were books printed for the servicemen in the Philippines, and especially my father had some from Vietnam War era.
Okay.
It's the paper is very thin. It's a very thin paper, very cheap paper, but they're not counterfeit.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to
They're highly collectible, actually.
People are only counterfeiting valuable books. So
Right.
those probably wouldn't have been very valuable books if they're from that era. They would have just been cheap
Right.
reproduction.
They tend to be literary or bestsellers of the day. And
Okay.
I recently just saw the James Michener one, probably about 3 months ago, probably for $30 or $40. The completest collector will buy those because they want everything by that author.
Yeah.
Inside the book, it's probably going to say something about made in Taiwan or made in the Philippines, and it may have like X out numbers.
Okay.
That may be why they think it's fake, but it's not. It's actually a produced book meant for servicemen.
Okay, cool. RFC does says yes, very thin paper. Yeah, if you want, send Max a message on Instagram. He's Common Ground Finds on Instagram or Facebook. Send him a message with some pictures, and he'll tell you.
I'll tell you all about them.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't throw them out. It's money.
He'll tell you if he thinks they're valuable. Though there are people that are counterfeiting like textbooks and like rare business books and stuff like that. We've seen that in the Paper Gold group.
Oh yeah.
Even the knockoff fake reproduction counterfeits can be valuable, though you have to be careful because I'm sure it's against eBay policy because of copyright law and stuff. So you do have to be careful. But even a knockoff textbook can still be very valuable. But you got to be wary when selling that kind of stuff. Let's see. M. Donnelly says crafters will sometimes buy the damaged books for projects, not at full price, of course. Yep, absolutely. Especially books with plates, if they have floral illustrations or anything like that, people love them. But again, it's a pain to sell damaged books because you have to find crafters, and crafters probably have access to cheap stuff like that everywhere. Everyone,
Whatnot is definitely
the
place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. RFC says, thank you. Very cool to know. Harris says, perfect. Thank you. Do you want to get to talking about YouTube or Instagram?
Either one is fine with me. Just keep in mind, we've been flying. It's already a half hour in.
Okay. We can go another 15 minutes or so.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So for Instagram, I started an Instagram page probably 5 years ago and posted every single day for like the last 5 years, but I have slowed down. I haven't posted anything in a couple of weeks. And I reuse photos. I repost photos that I posted 3 years ago. But one of the things to grow your Instagram channel is you got to go like other people's stuff, go follow other book people, go comment on their stuff and tell them how pretty their books are and how much you like their books and all that stuff.
Share your closet.
Yeah, exactly. So Instagram can be good. And it is pretty easy to grow a following on Instagram. At this point, I think I have over 12,000 followers, which is pretty big. But I've liked 1 billion people's posts and commented and stuff to grow that big. But even if you have a few hundred people, You're still going to get people sharing your stuff.
Mhm.
And I would say if you're a bookseller, it would be cool to show like, oh, hey, I just got this new inventory. Hey, this is what I'm selling this week. This is what I sold, all that kind of stuff, like Rare Books USA.
Yeah.
Everyone go check him out on Instagram, Rare Books USA. He's sharing all kinds of cool stuff about, hey, I sold these 10 books today, or like this is new inventory. Very cool content. I just like posting pretty old books. That's kind of all I do. And I message and buy and sell stuff from people too.
Yeah, and I do like more of the day-to-day stuff. I
Yeah.
like showing what sells. I like showing what comes in to right before it gets listed. I like showing when I get people love my videos when I get a pallet of books delivered to my driveway.
Yeah.
They just it just whacks them out. They don't understand it.
You also make reels, like saying, "Hey, this is my Instagram show today. Today I'm selling Rockstar signed photos or whatever."
Yeah, for whatnot. So yeah, I like the day-to-day rigmarole for Instagram, but I just would love to go live more and talk about the same way you and I are talking about books every Monday. I would just like to talk more about what I'm doing day to day.
Yeah, it is tough to do that because you could go live on Whatnot for that same half hour and make $300. So it's
Right.
tough to
Right.
dedicate half an hour to Instagram. But I think we've both probably got deals and bought and sold collections and got consignments from Instagram. And I don't know. I think I've definitely found some eBay customers from my YouTube channel. Though it's tough because not everyone tells you, hey, I found you on YouTube, and that's why I'm bidding on your stuff.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, my Arkansas deal came out because of YouTube.
Okay.
They saw me interviewed on YouTube, and that's how that Arkansas deal came to fruition.
Yeah.
So media,
It's definitely worth it. Even I would say even if you only make one video a month on YouTube, it's definitely worth starting a YouTube channel to advertise your business. You can put all your links on there, and it's very slow to grow your YouTube channel, but the potential for building connections and getting consignments and buying and selling is definitely there.
Let's say this because they may not know. You and I got to know each other because of my YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, that's true. And if it wasn't for me having a YouTube channel, you never would have reached out.
Right.
And I think there's lots of weird connections like that. You interviewed book peddler Phil, and then you interviewed
He was
me.
my number one. He was my number one.
Yep. And I was number 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think me and Phil had talked briefly. We've known about each other on YouTube, and we talked briefly before your show. But we never really made that connection. But now, like, we both know Phil and like have his phone number and can text and call him whenever. And it's a great.
Phil's the third Beatle of this show.
Yeah, yep. And Phil has had his YouTube a little longer. He has a lot bigger YouTube channels than us. And again, he maybe makes one video every week or two was kind of his schedule. And has grown it into something absolutely massive that I can't imagine the connections and the sales he gets from YouTube. Also, I think at this point I have almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. And like I think I've done 3 or 4 YouTube exclusive book sales where I show off like 10 or 15 books and say the prices. And usually I don't sell them all, but usually I sell about half of them by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these social media platforms can be used to promote your eBay or your Etsy or your whatnot, but then also build connections and hopefully buy stuff, sell stuff, trade stuff, make new friends, whatever.
Sell.
Yep. Okay, this is interesting. RFC says Phil is how we found whatnot. Wow, that's interesting.
Where is SF? Where's RFC located?
Where are you, RFC? Good question, Max. Grayson is in the chat. Grayson says, I need to actually start making posts. He has an IG, but no post yet. I keep wanting to put time into making it very nice and never starting. It can be as simple as posting a picture of some spines on some books and just say, hey, check out these antique books.
Mm-hmm.
Grayson has a lot of very cool older stuff. So it would be cool to put more time and effort into it. But honestly, some people like you could write a beautiful, eloquent paragraph about something and it gets like 10 likes, but then your wacko weirdo post that you put no effort into will get 100. So RFC's in Texas.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. We have 18 people watching. Nope, 16 people watching. Any other questions?
I'm
You're
just,
also on
yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah,
Do
I
you?
don't, I mean, that's just my, that's the person who does my social media. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, I don't do, and I don't specifically do anything for TikTok. She just uses my Instagram and then makes a TikTok out of that.
I'd be
Um,
curious if anyone is sending you messages on TikTok.
she would know I wouldn't.
Okay.
She'll send
Okay.
me a message, say, "Hey, you have a message from someone."
Okay. It can't be anything too
Yeah.
important though.
No, no. I mean, so it's always book related. Most of, I mean, I don't know if you get this, but most of the questions I get are, I have a book and what is it
Yeah.
worth?
Yep. We get that a lot.
I saw you
That's
on this show and you said it, contact you if you had a question. I'm contacting you.
yeah, actually someone just emailed me. I don't know how they even found my email address, but they sent me a list of books that they had inherited and they weren't too exciting, so I had to turn them down. I always feel bad doing that when someone
Yeah.
inherits books and um yeah. Yep. Grayson, yep. Very inconsistent traffic and it is tough to measure, but I definitely just suggest you start putting some effort into it and start building your
Yeah.
channels.
I mean, I would
What
love
do you think?
Grace. I would,
Minimum,
yeah.
minimum, you for sure need Instagram. It would make sense to be on Facebook and to be in the groups.
Right. But I would
Um,
love to see Grayson do exactly what Jesse from Reliant Books did. We just talked to him about it and boom, he starts making YouTube videos without a second thought.
yeah,
We talked to him about whatnot. He signed up within 24 hours. Now he's doing shows 3, 4 days a week.
yep,
No caution to the wind, and he's just going forward. So
yeah.
what I would want Grayson to do is not overthink any of it and just to trust it and let it organically become whatever he wants it to become once he starts it.
This is funny. So, Jesse joined Paper Gold what, like a month ago, a little over a month ago,
Just a month ago, yeah.
and like almost instantly did a Whatnot show and made a YouTube channel. And actually, he's live on Whatnot right now selling kids books. He has sold 79 bundles of kids books, anywhere from like a few bucks up to like 20 bucks. And he had bought 18 pallets of kids books. It was an online auction and he bought 18 pallets of kids books for like 500-600 bucks. And like he's gonna do a Whatnot show right now and probably sell 300-400-500 bucks
Mhm.
in the matter of an hour or two and
And
probably make
as far as I can recall, he's not even doing it now. He's training someone to do the show for him.
Yeah, I know his brother did a show, and there was some woman doing a show, but now he's
Yeah.
on there right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, so but he like you have expressed interest in the past of like if you could find someone
Mhm.
a personality to do your shows for you,
Sure.
but you do have to know a little bit about books.
Mhm.
You do have to have a little bit be a little charismatic. And have some sort of personality for people to want to buy stuff from you, I think.
I would not want to watch a replay of me doing a whatnot show. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to do it and not think about it again.
I still get nervous and awkward talking on camera about the books and like answering. Sometimes you'll get weird questions that you're like, okay, I don't really know what you're asking. Um, but you kind of just power through it and like people are very, very understanding and forgiving, like um on Whatnot for sure. All right, what do we got? Some more questions. We have Jay
Got
Hallman.
19 people in the chat.
Very cool.
We
Jay Hallman, is that a new name? I don't recognize Jay Hallman.
Jay Harmon, where are you from?
First time
And how
commenter.
did you hear about us?
He wants to know any advice on pricing one-of-a-kind items that have institutional interest.
Got to
Wow.
know what it is. Got to know what it is.
That's I know, but like what's your advice? I would say try to find similar stuff that is sold. Try to find other scarce items that are very similar. If it's an old theological text from the 17th century, try to find other similar stuff. You could always, you know what, a one person that I would reach out to is Rare Book Buyer Adam. Is it Adam Weinberger?
Yeah.
Weinberger, I think. On Instagram, Rare Book Buyer, and he's very accommodating. He'll always answer you back. I've sold him a few things, and then I've got his opinion on prices for a few things. And he's been in the business for 30 some years and sold incredibly rare stuff, incredible old stuff. That's a very tough one, especially if you know that there's possibility of an institution buying it. Maybe reach out to some ABAA members because a lot of them have
Right. They may not know what ABA membership means.
okay, what is it? The American Bookseller, the Antiquarian Booksellers Association of America.
Yes.
It's a very respectable bookselling association for people that have experience and whatnot in the bookselling trade. So go to the ABA website, and they have lists and email addresses for all the members. And you could probably reach out to them because a lot of their members have experience selling to institutions. I have none, so I can't help.
I would still love to know what it is.
Yeah, what is it? Yep, absolutely.
Jay Hallman. Jay Hallman's in paper gold.
Oh, okay.
Who's Jay Hallman though?
I don't know.
Because they got a different paper gold name. What's your paper gold name?
It starts with a J, I assume.
Jane Drops?
It could be.
Let's take guesses. Come on, Jay Hallman. Who are you?
They're from Texas. That's all we know. They're from Texas. And their first name starts with a J. Grayson says that he is not a full-timer and only messes with the expensive stuff, so I'm not really in a position to do whatnot. Yeah, that makes sense. I have amassed a good volume of stuff to call that would probably do well on whatnot. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely worth giving a try. And again, I would suggest just trying it with like maybe $20 to $50 items or even like $10 to $20 items and see what happens.
It's fun.
Grayson says, I have sold Adam a signed Virginia Woolf. Antiquarians are generally pretty helpful even when they don't buy the stuff. So I agree. An antiquarian recommended me to Georgetown. Okay, yep, absolutely. Those people have the connections with the rare material buyers at these institutions. And it's almost impossible for us to reach out to them. They probably wouldn't even answer our emails, but they will reach out to a antiquarian seller that they've worked with in the past. And yes, Adam Weinberger is a great resource. He's very helpful. Oh, Justin Hallman from Texas.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Well, welcome to Pick Our Brains every Monday night
is this his first time here?
I think so.
Cool.
First time commenter, Justin? I think so.
All of these people lurking we never knew about. They're coming out of the woodwork now.
I know. Even Harris Meg has been here watching us.
Come on, Harris.
We just like to know who's watching us, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, so do you want to talk quickly about the eBay promoted listings change?
I don't know if that's a 2-minute conversation.
No,
I think you can summarize it real quick as a warning of what's probably coming down the road.
So eBay promoted listings, they've changed their policies overseas. I think is it the France market and maybe a couple other smaller markets?
Germany, yes.
France and Germany. Yep, and they've changed it. So with promoted listings, usually if someone clicks on your promoted item and it sells within a month, you pay the fee if that person bought it. But eBay is changing the wording on their policy that now if you promote your book and someone clicks on it,
does not buy it,
and then you end the promotion, eBay is still going to charge you even if the person
when it gets bought by somebody else.
Yes, when it's not sponsored and showing up at the top of the search results, eBay is still going to charge you the promoted fee, even though that click didn't come from them promoting your item.
Right.
And it's kind of controversial. It's just a money grab. I don't know. They're just trying it on these smaller markets to see, because this is bound to lead to some people saying, "Nah, I'm not doing promoted."
Oh yeah, this is gonna.
Before, you would only get charged if they promoted your item and it showed up at the top of the results and that person clicked on it and bought it within a month. That was the only time you were getting charged. But now eBay's kind of double dipping and they're like, well, we're gonna charge you no matter what because you promoted it. So sometimes I suppose you would promote something and it would sell because maybe I would click on your promoted listing and then I'd email the link to Max and maybe Max would go buy it. And that you wouldn't get charged because he didn't find it because of them promoting it.
Right. But
This is definitely going to lead to people. This is definitely going to lead to people because instead of just your promoted listings getting clicked on and sold, every item's going to get charged that promoted extra fee. So
let's just make sure that everybody understands this is not in the United States yet.
No. And they're going to roll it out over in the smaller markets. I think it's going to lead to a lot of people quitting using promoted listings, but as long as their revenue goes up, I don't think eBay cares.
I'm going to make a wild prediction right here. There will come a time in 2026 that there will be a attempt from eBay sellers to boycott promoted listings for 30 days. I think someone is going to latch on to this idea because I've heard little peeks about this, and they're going to try to get the same way you would sign a petition back in the day. They're going to try to get you to not do promoted listings for 30 days to try to teach eBay a lesson.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It varies category by category, but there are some categories. I don't know what the book category even is, but there's some categories where anywhere from like 20 to 40% of items are being promoted and sellers are promoting in those categories. So if 35% of items are being promoted, that means almost everyone's stuff is being promoted. And what is the promotion doing? If everyone's stuff is being promoted, what is it doing for you? It's kind of a level playing field because everyone's promoted. So everyone's stuff is getting pushed to the top. And I guess you're fighting because the eBay just wants you to pay extra in fees and to ramp up your promotion percentage. I've promoted a few things in the last several years, but it's very, very, very seldom. I'm not interested. We already pay enough fees. And I don't think anyone's interested in paying more. And then, so I will say, Commonwealth Picker did a video on this a few days ago, and he mentioned that if I'm going to promote my items and pay an extra maybe 10% in fees, I think is kind of standard for most categories, higher in the more competitive categories. If I'm going to pay an extra 10% in fees, I'm probably going to jack that the sale price up 10%. I'm going to jack up the price of the item. So this isn't benefiting buyers, it's or sellers, it's only benefiting eBay.
Right. And the easiest way to look at it is if 25 people are promoting the same book, as we all sell books, then really what's the promotion?
Yep. And if I have to pay an extra 10% in fees, if my total fees for that item is 25%, I can't take a low ball offer because the fees are going to kill me. So yeah, it's just not good. I know Max is 100% against anyone doing promoted listings. I'm not. I'm not 100%. I'm mostly against it, but not completely against it. I know there's lots of people, even in the Paper Gold group, that promote everything. Even if it's only at a couple percent, they think it helps them. They think if they don't promote, their sales are going to go off a cliff and they're not going to make any money at all. And I suppose you have one experience where you end your promotions and then your sales dip and you're like, well, shit, I need to promote. So I'm not completely against it, but I would hate the idea of paying an extra, even a few percent in fees on everything I sold. It would suck. It would really suck. But people are used to it. So
again, I think I told you this yesterday. We'll end on this note. When I first started eBay many years ago, the fee was 9.2%.
Yeah, but then you also had a few percent in PayPal fee instead of the eBay managed payments. So it has gone up, but like, yeah, it sucks. And especially with promoted listings, there's people paying a heck of a lot more than the 14, 15%. A couple last questions and then we'll wrap things up, or comments. Jay Hallman says that it is some corporate memos and maps from the first oil exploration in Venezuela. That's very cool.
There's a lot of ways to go there, though. You can go with Venezuela. You can go with people who
Geology.
study
Yeah.
the oil business. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go there.
And actually, we have a buddy in Chicago, Curtis Wright Maps. He would
Mhm.
definitely be helpful. You can send him an email, Curtis Wright Maps. That's Curtis Wright, Curtis Wright Maps out of Chicago. He would definitely be willing to help you out and give you any advice. He sells to a lot of institutions.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, post it in the Discord.
Gotta get
Grayson
in the
says
Discord.
Grayson says that we need an antiquarian channel in Discord. I definitely agree with that. Um, M. Donnelly says buyers are already taking a hit in shipping in many cases. Yep. Shipping costs more, and then if you're promoting, you gotta raise the price on your items. So
And eBay's
customers are
charging
losing.
us percentage off the shipping
Yep.
too.
Customers are losing, buyers and sellers are losing. eBay is doing all right. All right, let's wrap things up. It's been a great show, almost an
Almost
hour.
an hour today, Kent.
Yep, excellent show. Very cool.
Fly by.
All right, we will see you all next Monday at 5:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern.
And I have a surprise next week.
Oh shoot, do you really? Probably a guest or something silly.
You won't know.
All right, I will see